Prepping for short-term SHTF. Based on the fact that my last video about prepping brought in the second most subscribers of any video on my channel so far, I'd like to continue with this topic because it's clear that MGTOW men are interested in survivalism. Today I'm discussing the short-term game plan during a crisis situation. What things do we need in the initial first 2 weeks minimum when all hell is breaking loose? Please realize that my opinion is subjective, and this doesn't mean that there is a clear-cut consensus. Nobody can predict the future or exactly what form it will take when the collapse comes. That being said, we can say for certain what our basic needs will be right off the bat. I've broken this down into the 3 things that you must have, no exceptions, regardless of who you are or what the specific scenario is. Number 1 is personal defense. Take a look at the news anytime there is a disaster like a hurricane. People are seen in the streets rioting and looting. Now imagine just how much worse it would be without the rule of law. You'd see just how animalistic we can be. This is why you need a gun. Or if you live in a state which makes it difficult or impossible, then at least have a dagger or a knife or a baseball bat or some mace spray. But I would say opt for the gun. There's an endless debate over which type of gun is ideal. In home defense, it's generally believed that a shotgun or a pistol is best. I have a pistol myself. I believe it's more maneuverable, especially in tight spaces. It's lighter in case you want to bug out, and you can hold it in one hand. This might be useful if you have other things you're carrying at the time, or for example, if you have a baby with you. Aside from a gun, I keep a dagger in my car and a baseball bat next to each entrance in my house. If you are new to guns, I'd highly recommend taking a gun safety class and spending some time practicing at a shooting range. Now on to number 2. You cannot survive without shelter. If you bug in, obviously this shelter would be your house. But even then, you'd still need heat and warmth, especially if you are in a cold climate or the winter. So be prepared to have a means to start a fire with, because in SHTF you can't count on electricity. You'll want blankets in your house. If you bug out, then make sure in your bag that you have lightweight Mylar heat-insulating blankets, which are the kind that they use in American Red Cross. If you have extra space, then a set of long-sleeve wool clothes would be ideal. You also need a tarp or lightweight tent to protect you from the rain. With a tarp, you'd need some paracord line to secure it down if you, for example, are making a V-formation shelter. The goal is to have protection against the elements like rain, wind, and low temperatures. Number 3, now that you have self-protection and shelter, the final thing you need to survive short-term is food and water. Let's start with water. Humans can't go more than a week at max without water before death occurs. Even just 4 days and you're in pretty bad shape. In my setup, I have 4 ways to get or to purify water. The first is a life straw, which can be used to drink water directly from lakes, rivers, and even puddles in the ground. It filters out 99% of all microorganisms except viruses. It meets EPA standards for drinking water, so it's pretty safe, especially in a crisis. I'll put a link in the description box below to where you can get this product on Amazon. Secondly, I have water purification tablets in a box, which is made by the brand Portable Aqua. The link is also in the description box below. These do kill all microorganisms, but it takes about 30 minutes to achieve, so you can't drink it immediately. If you don't have these first 2, then you can use my third option, which is plain old Clorox bleach. Take 1 gallon of water and add about 6 to 8 eye droplets of bleach. Let it sit for 60 minutes, then you can drink it. The fourth option is to boil water. This assumes that you have a metal container to boil it in, that you have a way to start a fire, and that you have enough time for it to reach boil, then cool, before you drink it. Any of these options can be used. You can get water in lakes, rivers, large puddles, or you can trap rainwater. The tarp that I mentioned before can be used for this. Spread it out and elevate each corner, or post each corner onto a tree, and then you want to collect the water in the center after it rains. So let's talk about food. You can last longer without food than you can without water, but it's still a max of only 3 to 5 weeks before you're dead. Hopefully everyone has at least a few weeks of canned goods in their house, and water too. But if you bug out, then it's best to bring enough food to keep you alive for a few weeks, but not so much that it weighs you down. A few cans, especially of things like peanut butter or beans, is the best. I'm a fan of peanut butter in my bug out bag. You can also check into Mountain House dehydrated meals in packets or cans, which I believe last up to a decade before they spoil. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you have a gun or fishing tackle supplies in your bug-out bag, then you could procure food for longer. You could hunt whatever local animals are near you. For me, it's rabbits and coyotes. I also have a lake with largemouth bass and catfish down the road. But I'm getting off topic because that's more medium to long term. I just brought it up to show that a gun has other uses than self-defense. You can secure food and meat with it. Those are the 3 immediate needs that you must satisfy in SHTF: self-defense, shelter, and food and water. I obviously didn't mention any other smart things, like a first aid kit, a flashlight, a fire starter rod, or a zillion other gadgets that you can find. This was just the bare bones of what you 100% cannot survive without. That's all I have for today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more content like this in the future.